we're good?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order, the Ridgewood Village Council. This is a regular public meeting. The date is July 13th, 2022, and the time is 8:02 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in Village Hall, by mail to the Ridgewood News, the Record, and by submission to all persons entitled to same, as provided by law, of a schedule including the date and time of this meeting. Roll call.
Councilwoman Perrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Reynolds.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Seaton.
Here.
Councilman Vagianos.
Here.
And Mayor Newton.
Here. Please join us for the flag salute. I'm going to ask everyone to join us in a moment of silence in memory of our dear friend Linda McNamara, who passed away just a few days ago. And we will miss Linda, a voice in the village who kept everyone up here on our toes, a friend, a neighbor, and an advocate. So, please. Thank you. I move the bills, claims, and vouchers and statements of funds on hand as of May 31st, 2022 and June 30th, 2022 be accepted as submitted.
Second.
Perrin.
Yes.
Reynolds.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move that the Village Council minutes of February 16th, February 23rd, March 2nd, March 23rd, April 6th, April 27th, and June 8th, 2022, having been reviewed by the Village Council, now available in the Village Clerk's office, be approved as submitted.
Second.
Perrin.
Yes.
Reynolds.
Yes.
Seaton.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I don't believe that Mr. Robert Cho is here this evening. If he arrives, Mr. Cho has opened up a new business, Kimchi Smoke Fachko Shack. If he arrives at some point during the meeting, we'll invite him to speak at either public comment in the beginning or after the meeting, okay? With that, we have no proclamations this evening. We'll go to comments from the public. 40 minutes in total, 3 minutes per person. Please remember to state your name and address for the record. Public comment? Just make sure that green light is on at the bottom of the microphone. Little button. Very good. Name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Sharon DeMarco, 71 Ottawa Avenue in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey. I'm an employee of the Village of Ridgewood Water Department and a white-collar shop steward. Growing up, my parents taught me the importance of those two magic words, please and thank you. The last time I was here, I asked you to please help us settle our white and blue-collar contracts. A few weeks ago, we finally got our raises, 2.5 years after the contract expiration. Tonight, I'm just here to say thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Schmidt, 123 South Irving Street, and I wanted to share something that I attended today, and I think it has some relevance. I went to court today. I had my day in court. It was small claims court, Bergen County Superior Civil Court, and I was the plaintiff in the case. And I was really surprised. The whole thing was done on Zoom. The first minutes, about 20 people came in, and the clerk on Zoom verified who they were, verified what their docket was, made sure everybody was around, and then after that, the judge came in. And he said, you know, everybody is where you are, but I'm here at the courthouse. He read the instructions. He talked about what the pros and cons of going forward with your hearing was. And when the proceedings started, they were even able to break out people into breakout rooms where the plaintiff and defendant could go into arbitration with a facilitator. And through the whole thing, I said, oh my gosh, if you could actually do court proceedings virtually and have some sense of integrity to them, then why can we not have public meetings like this virtually as well? So I'm here to just do another pitch for hybrid meetings of some sort. And you beat me to it, Linda, but Susan, I just wanted to say, in honor of, in tribute to, and recognition of Linda, I know that tomorrow, under other circumstances, she'd be calling me and saying, Catherine, I just want to tell you how glad I was that you put that issue in front of the council again. So, Linda, we will keep fighting the fight, but I hope you will consider hybrid meetings at some point. Thank you,
Catherine.
Stacy Antine, 1057 Hillcrest Road, Ridgewood. I want to announce that Health Barn has been awarded another $1 million for Phase 3 of the NJEDA's Sustain and Serve grant to fund Feed the Frontlines in partnership with the Ridgewood Chamber of Commerce and the Bergen County Food Security Task Force. With this grant, we will have pumped more than $4 million into Ridgewood Central Business District since spring 2020. And because of this grant, we will serve an additional 80,000 healthy, nutritious, and restaurant-quality meals to Bergen County's food insecure community, including Ridgewood Social Services and Ridgecrest. At the end of this grant, participating Ridgewood restaurants will have served over 400,000 meals to our most vulnerable neighbors. I want to thank the residents of Ridgewood who have rallied together to deliver hundreds of thousands of meals throughout Bergen County. Without their support, Feed the Frontlines could not exist. I have received numerous calls from other organizations who cannot believe how many volunteers have participated in Feed the Frontlines. They want to know what's the secret to this incredible outreach. That's why I'm here today to thank all the residents for volunteering their time during this crisis that is not over and has hit the most vulnerable populations harder than expected. We hope to be up delivering with the restaurants September 18th, and I hope you guys will drive, and we're so grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stacy.
And thank you to Health Barn.
Any other public comment?
Good evening. Russell Forenza, 228 Emmett Place, Ridgewood, New Jersey, 07450-280-3281. Good evening, council. Council also, and the village manager. Some comments. It's been over 70 years now, and Ridgewood has had a hospital. In a few more years, Ridgewood will no longer have a hospital. It will go to Paramus, New Jersey. The village council, was it maybe 15 years ago or whatever it was, made a terrible decision, in my opinion, on not keeping or trying to keep Valley in this town. I hope, with the bad news that it's leaving, maybe something good and constructive can come out of this. Maybe with the village council and the hospital and the state of New Jersey, we can turn Valley, or part of Valley, into a few other things. Mainly one, or not mainly one, but one, keep some of the services there, like an emergency department. Some of the screening processes and stuff like that be kept at the hospital. Number two, and which I consider probably the most important thing, and which state approval would be mostly required, is to designate Valley, since it's already a hospital, with a special designation as an infectious disease hospital for things like COVID, which apparently will never go away. At least from what I hear, and I'm retired, so I listen to a lot of newscasts, all the different news programs. Nobody has any opinion, or nobody has any idea, rather, when this will end, whether it comes again, how often it'll come, what will happen, whether we have to go under the same restrictions we have. So I think it's an opportunity for the town to have an empty, vacant building, which Valley should convert with the current plans in mind that they were allowed to go ahead with before they wanted to improve the hospital before it was turned down. So in other words, there was a plan in effect where they could convert the hospital, but it had to stay the same size and stuff like that. We all know they got to have single rooms. So maybe Valley could change what's there now after the new place gets built and put single rooms in, but designate this for places that have COVID or stuff like that. We know what happened the last time. There wasn't enough room in the hospitals. People were all over the place. This is going to happen again, folks. I don't want it to happen, but everything I could determine, it's going to happen. And I think we have the opportunity to do something. I don't know if there's any plans in effect to do this or anything like this, but that's my suggestion. And I hope some of you people would take it up, or maybe have a committee formed, or whatever you like to do. I guess Valley has only probably another 2 years maximum, I guess, before they vacate. I think the new structure should be ready by then and moved in, but everything depends upon how things get built. And is that me?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Russ.
Well, you get the essence of what I'm trying to say. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Public comment? All right. With that, we will close public comment, and very quickly, we'll just say thank you to Stacy and Health Barn, and congratulations on that. And I believe that part of our understanding with Valley and our settlement agreement was that they would continue to provide outpatient services. So I don't know if...
Yeah, we can just in response to Mr. Ferenza's comments, most of that is up to Valley Hospital, but the relationship at this point is to allow them, once they move, to continue to provide health care services at the existing facilities, and that the existing facilities will stay there as long as Valley wants to operate them. So that's a suggestion, certainly, that can be made to Valley, and they'll decide to do that. If Valley leaves and no longer conducts health care services on that site, then the property is already zoned for affordable housing, and it's already deemed an area in need of redevelopment, so we can plan the affordable housing, something we're going to be doing this fall. So just keep in touch with that, and we'll be further making determinations as to what to do if Valley decides to leave the Linwood campus and move all health care out of Ridgewood. So.
All right. With that, we will go to the village manager's report.
Okay, I just want to remind everyone to please conserve water. Although we had a very wet spring, it's been very dry lately, and we're really, with the hot weather, it's been a drain on our tanks, and so I'm just asking everyone to please do your part. As an update to the Kingsbridge Lane Bridge replacement, our village engineer has advised me that although we wanted to use a design-build model for the bridge replacement, we cannot do so because, according to the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs regulations, design-build structures can only be done if they are $5 million or more, which this bridge is not. We have $100,000 currently budgeted, and this money can now go towards an RFP to award a contract for the design and cost estimate for the bridge replacement. Once we know the cost estimate, which the village engineer believes will probably be more than $400,000, the village council will have real costs and can decide whether or not to move forward with the project. The NJDEP permitting cannot be done until the design has been approved by both the village council and Bergen County. I want to announce that nominating petition packets for the Ridgewood Village Council are available in the village clerk's office. There are 2 seats available for village council in the November 8th, 2022 general election. There was a change order last week for the elevator at the Ridgewood Water headquarters. What I do want to mention is that I received information from the architect when I reached out to him. It's RSC Architects who is working on this project, and it says it has been customary with elevators serving less than 4 stories, which the Ridgewood Water headquarters is, for a sump pit to be provided in the elevator pit, and for building owners to provide a portable sump pump to be placed in the sump pit only when the need arises. More recently, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Elevator Safety Unit has been enforcing the letter of the law and requiring the sump pump be permanently installed. The architect did mention that there are issues with that, in that it's usually on a dirt area and that it has, it can get dusty, it needs maintenance, it needs to be primed, and whereas a portable sump pump can be stored in a closet away from dust and things like that. Secondly, with the improvements to the elevator equipment in recent years, the elevator manufacturers have been able to make the control equipment smaller, and they're able to put the equipment and controller unit within the elevator shaft with access provided through the shaft wall. The elevator manufacturer in this case is Otis Elevators, and they do not require ventilation be provided because it's very small. In the past, I was told there used to be an elevator closet, which was very large. This is a very small unit. However, again, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs Elevator Safety Unit is requiring ventilation because of the presence of the equipment within the shaft. So that is why we were required to have that change order. We cannot get a CO for the building until we have the elevator operational. So that's another important factor in this. I want to say the Village Council, on another matter, the Village Council is looking for volunteers to serve on Green Ridgewood, the Ridgewood Green Team, and Project Pride. More information about these committees will be on the Village website by the end of this week. Please send a cover letter explaining why you wish to serve on a particular committee, a resume, and a citizen volunteer leadership form, which is found on the Village website on the tile labeled Employment and Volunteer Opportunities, no later than August 12th, 2022. I just want to remind everyone the adjusted grade and pool hours now through August 5th, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. is adult lap only, and then Saturday and Sunday is 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We recently, by the weekend, we were using the Recycle Coach app for notifying people for a grade and pool, and I appreciate Mr. Loving giving me a call and letting me know that it's working very well. So I'm very excited by that. Thank you, Mayor Newton, for the idea to pursue that. And we'll see how it works as, we encounter things like lightning and, bad weather, and then notifying people that the pool is open. So if you are a grade and pool member, please go on the Recycle Coach app. Please check that you want Graydon notifications, and you will get those. If you do not belong to Graydon, don't check that, because then you'll be getting those notifications you don't need. Movies on the beach will be shown at Graydon Pool. You do not have to be a member of Graydon Pool to go to the movie. Bring a chair or a blanket and enjoy the movie. Friday, July 15th is Space Jam 2, and Friday, August 5th is Sing 2. It's $5 a person, either cash or check. The movie starts at dusk, and the Water's Edge Cafe will be open until the movie starts. We're still looking for additional lifeguards for Graydon Pool, although I know we are training several at the moment. So if you or someone you know is interested, please call the Ridgewood Recreation Division at 201-670-5560, extension 3111. I want to mention, which I mentioned last week, cars continue to be stolen because key fobs are left in cars. Please remember to lock your doors when you go into stores as well, even if it is for only a few minutes. I heard a story from our police chief that last week a resident parked and went into a shop to get coffee, and although he took his key fob with him, he left his car unlocked. Another car pulled up alongside the resident's car, and a person jumped out of that car and into the passenger seat of the resident's car and started looking for the key fob or other valuables. The resident came out to his car, and the person in the resident's car jumped back into the second car as it sped away. This could have been much worse if, there was a confrontation between the two. Obviously, if you are in that situation, our recommendation is do not confront the perpetrator. Also, please close your garage doors if no one is outside your home, and lock the door from your garage to your house. We did have an incident where thieves walked into an open garage because the garage door was open, straight into a resident's house, saw some purses there, grabbed them, went through them, and the police found them a couple blocks away. So I'm just urging you, please, to be mindful and careful. Music in Memorial Park at Van Ness Square will be presented on Saturday and Sunday nights during the summer months. The Ridgewood Guild is sponsoring free movies in the park. Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. July 27th is Hairspray. On August 10th, it will actually be at 8:30 p.m., a little earlier. That'll be Clueless. And August 24th at 9 p.m. will be All About Eve. The Ridgewood Guild sponsors Music in the Night for the 13th season. That's various locations on Friday nights through Labor Day. There will be music performed. The Ridgewood Guild also is sponsoring Art in the Park, which will be the first Friday of August. Pinot's Palette provides the art that is for viewing and for sale. The Cash Shell is running their programs every Tuesday and Thursday up till August 4th. The senior bus will be providing free transportation to several of the Tuesday music performances. Please call 201-670-5500, extension 2203, to make a reservation. If you wish to know if a performance is going to be relocated indoors due to weather concerns, please call 201-444-1776 after 6:30 p.m. on the day of the performance for an update. A message at that phone number will advise you of changes in location. Thursday, July 21st, a health resources fair will take place in the parking lot next to the Cash Shell from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Healthy information about at-home COVID-19 tests, giveaways, and important information from Valley Hospital, Bergen Newbridge Medical Center, Ridgewood Parks and Recreation, Ridgewood Health Department, Age-Friendly, Ridgewood, and Westburg Mental Health Care will be available. BCUA is holding their household hazardous waste collection at the Bergen County Camp Claw Reservation, 200 Camp Claw Road in Mahwah, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, July 16th. Ridgewood Chamber of Commerce Sidewalk Sale Days are August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Come and shop for summer markdowns and then enjoy a meal or snack in one of our many eateries. On August 6th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be a Touch a Truck event at Van Ness Square and also at the train station parking lot. This will be a chance for our youngest residents as well as our older residents to get up close to large village vehicles. There is a BCUA recycling event on Saturday, August 6th at Bergen Community College. It's being held rain or shine, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. It includes mobile paper shredding, and that will end as soon as the truck is filled. Electronics and computers, unwanted medication. There's no commercial vehicles allowed, no business or commercial waste, and you do require a ID, which would be your driver's license. The Farmers Market is celebrating its 22nd anniversary, Sundays from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the train station lot through late October, early November. Village Council upcoming meetings are broadcast live on Channel 34 on FiOS, on the Village website, and on YouTube. August 3rd is our next Village Council work session at 7:30. We also have a Village Council work session on September 7th, and our two public meetings are August 10th at 8 p.m. and September 14th at 8 p.m. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Perrin.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to echo Susan Knudsen's comments about Linda McNamara. She was also the soul of the Ridgewood League of Women Voters, a stalwart in our community, and I'll miss her silly poems. And today was Bulk Waste Day pickup in Ridgewood on the east side, and I saw styrofoam all over the place for pickup in bulk waste. Please don't put expanded polystyrene. That's the packing stuff, the white packing stuff that furniture and TVs come in, because it fills our trucks, and therefore we have to spend more fossil fuel to send our trucks to dispose of recycling of bulk waste, and then it fills our landfills. So all the way around, it's terrible for the environment, and we have a solution here in Ridgewood. We have a densifier. Bring your EPS, the expanded polystyrene, to our recycling department center, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and they have a densifier that makes it into bricks that can make picture frames, moldings, things like that. So it's a wonderful reuse. And the recycling center is open every day except Wednesdays and Sundays. The Chamber of Commerce met this morning. We talked about those sandwich boards, A-frames, that we talked about here in the council, and they didn't actually express an opinion, pro or con, with regard to the proposed pictured Excello A-frame that we talked about. They felt that the code section that we have now is fine because it gives merchants the dimensions, and they don't have to buy from a particular manufacturer, so they didn't see a problem. With regard to the window display ordinance that we're voting on tonight for to fill empty storefronts, they suggested that we might remedy one of the causes of empty storefronts by changing our zoning ordinance so that the business zones would be exclusive rather than inclusive. And by that I mean what we have right now are business zoning so that it says a restaurant can open, a salon can open, a UPS store can open. That's inclusive by enumerating what can go into stores. An exclusive zone would say these are the prohibited uses: tattoo parlor, blacksmith, marijuana sales, and that would open it up. So that was their suggestion on that point. We had a report that the elevator was out of order again in the Hudson Street garage yesterday, and they asked, is there a particular cause that the elevator has been out frequently, recently? If you can let me know, I will relay that back to him, to the Chamber of Commerce as liaison. Let's see. The big discussion today at Chamber was about pedestrian plaza. It would be great if we could quantify the effect of the pedestrian plaza rather than interviewing merchants or doing a survey. The suggestion was, and the consensus was to suggest this to council, look at parking. If we were to compare parking revenues from 2021 in the months of July and August to the parking revenues this year at the end of August, it would give Chamber too a frame of reference, something somewhat objective to go by. And so I would request on their behalf if the parking utility could provide that comparison. And then a subcommittee of the Chamber of Commerce would look at what kind of alternatives and compromises might make a difference and might be palatable. Let's see. CBDAC will be having its first, that is the Citizens, the Central Business District Advisory Committee will be having its first in-person meeting since COVID. And that will be tomorrow morning. Our speaker is John Saracino, a local resident and developer. He has invited the committee to meet at NOMA, the apartment complex at the corner of Maple Avenue and Franklin Avenue, 5th floor in the balcony. So we'll be meeting outside. John is an insightful and occasionally irreverent speaker. We will be meeting there, but we will also be providing a Zoom link, so if anybody wants to join, just let me know. I can pass along the link to you. If you're going to the building itself, there are no left turns into that building. Open Space Committee is scheduled to meet July 21st, 7 o'clock at the stable, at the Leicester Stable. If anybody wants to join us, it's open to the public. We are trying to get together a PowerPoint to show what we found when we went to Wayne, New Jersey to see their flood acquisition plan and how it looks now. Green Ridgewood met last week. Project 1,000 Acres, which is a sustainability project for residents' yards and properties in Ridgewood. We now have 177 acres registered in Ridgewood that are sustainably maintained. Take a look at the website if you're interested. It's very educational and well done, and you may choose to join in and register your property. We also discussed leaf blower noise pollution. We decided not to recommend to the council to adopt the state's model noise ordinance, which is based on decibel levels, because it's unwieldy in terms of enforcement. Rather, we're going to suggest that Ridgewood follow what other towns have been doing, which is to allow gas-powered leaf blowers only for 2 months in the spring and 2 months in the fall, which is when landscapers need them the most. We'll come up with a draft. We'll run it by you, Matt, and the Health Department, Parks Department, landscapers, and so that's in the works. We will be saying goodbye to our chairman, Bob Upton, who is moving to Morristown, and therefore our August meeting is going to be a party at my house. That's all I have.
We're all invited. Just kidding. Okay, very good. Councilman Vagianos?
Mercifully, I have nothing to report.
Councilwoman Reynolds?
Thank you, Mayor. Where is my? I don't have much. If you go downtown, you'll see that the banners promoting pedestrian safety have been hung in the Central Business District. So go down, take a look, follow the rules. They're really good. They make sense. Don't be on your phone when you're crossing the street. Be aware. They're all good messages. Special thank you goes out to Jane Remus and Anastasia Bamberg for working on these. It took a long time, but they're up and they look great. The upcoming July 19th Planning Board meeting has 2 things of interest for the community. Mr. Forenza, you might be interested in this. The first one is a discussion regarding the Valley Hospital Affordable Housing Redevelopment Plan. And the second item that could be of interest to the community is the review of the master plan draft. The meeting starts 7:30 next Tuesday. I also want to reiterate about Linda McNamara. Sorry. She was really a treasure, for Ridgewood, and we will miss her. I shouldn't have said anything.
I know, it's contagious. Okay, all right. Okay, deep breath. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. The Shade Tree Commission did not meet on Tuesday because there was not much new business in July, I guess. But the Green Team will be meeting next week. So we heard back from Sustainable Jersey in our first round application. And as it stands right now, the village has most of the requirements met to be recertified at a silver level. We need a priority action, which we have, 3 or mandatory action, 3 priority actions, which they consider priority actions, and they have been approved. We need 8 categories. At least out of their list of actions. We have 10 categories with actions approved in it, and we have 170 points that were already approved. So the only thing that we are missing is 350 points to be recertified at a silver level through Sustainable Jersey, and that helps with grants, and that documents everything we do for the environment and for sustainability. So as it stands right now, if we just wrapped it up and said we were done, we could be certified at a bronze level, and we'd still be eligible for grants and assistance from Sustainable Jersey and everything else. But since we have several review deadlines until the very end, the next one being August 28th, then we will be able to add some of the information that they're seeking to the existing actions that we have, and we have, I think, a total potential of 460 or 470 points. We probably won't get all of those points, but we do need to get 350. So it is, again, it's we're far ahead of where we've been in any other previous application cycle, and it's very much attainable. So the committee will meet next week, and we'll divvy up the tasks to complete our silver certification, and we will work towards that. So end of August is the next review deadline. I believe there is another one towards the end of September, and then the final deadline is in November, early in November, because they like to wrap that up before the League of Municipalities in Atlantic City, so that they can have a lunch and award different awards for towns and name all the towns that have been certified and recertified. So we're still in good shape. We're going to figure it out next week and probably bring it on home, I would say, before the last deadline, because we have their comments to work with, and we have a great staff in Village Hall who's willing to help, and a great committee and council support, so everything's good. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. And that leaves me. So first I have to say that I have the Recycle Coach app, and I received the first grade-in notification, push notification, so I was so excited to see it, and I wanted to thank all of the village staff who helped to make it happen so quickly. It was really very, very fast. We accomplished that, and so it's a great opportunity to keep folks apprised of what's going on at Graydon. As promised, I, along with members of village staff, had a meeting to discuss the various issues throughout the village regarding flooding, erosion issues, primarily near to streams, the Hohokus Brook feeder streams and the river, and some just neighborhoods that are also experiencing flooding. So again, I want to thank the village manager, our village attorney, and village staff for helping kind of organize everything. We have a list of areas that really need attention, and tonight we're going to be reallocating funds that were designated for one project actually quite a number of years ago. I don't even recall how long ago that was, but the project was never done, so we will be reallocating those funds and working on these trouble areas. HPC meets tomorrow night. There is one sign application for new business and another application for a residence. The sandwich boards, the A-frame signs, I think I would like to see that maybe go to HPC as well, just so everyone is on the same page. And there are a number of different designs that are available, and I think that if we can approve certain designs, that it would be helpful to maintain some visual interest and complement the historic central business district. So I think maybe HPC eyes on that would be really helpful. And I do again want to reiterate Councilman Reynolds' comments about planning board. It is an important meeting, and again, that is our redevelopment plan for the Valley site and the master plan review. And finally, I just wanted to touch on the criminal activity that the village manager was discussing. Ridgewood is not immune from crime, and people need to take this very seriously and pay attention. As someone who was a victim of a violent crime, not here in Ridgewood, I do want to encourage everyone not to confront people, not to engage, and to really do lock your cars and lock your homes, and please be safe. Our job one here as a village council is to provide public safety. And public safety is, while job one, it's also incumbent upon each of us to take care of ourselves and pay attention and not be victims. So please, everyone in Ridgewood, we make our community less safe when we engage in activity that makes it easy for crime to occur. So if we don't lock our cars and we're not locking our homes, it becomes a magnet for more crime. So just doing that, if I did that in my home, I would actually make my entire neighborhood less safe. So please, everyone, please take this seriously. And with that, we will go on to our Ridgewood
Okay.
order.
Ridgewood Water, there are no introductions or public hearings for ordinances. We do have resolutions on the consent agenda for Ridgewood Water. The following resolutions, number 22-243 through 22-255, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the Village Council. They will be read by title only. Award contract, GIS software support. Title 59 approval, water billing and data collection services. Award contract, water billing and data collection services. Title 59 approval, infrared asphalt restoration. Award contract, infrared asphalt restoration. Award contract under state contract, TV monitors for SCADA room in Ridgewood Water headquarters. Award contract under state contract, water quality testing equipment and supplies. Award professional services contract, engineering services for raw water mains, phase 1. Award professional services contract, evaluation of car water treatment plant. Authorized change order, Ridgewood Water headquarters. Authorized agreement with PSE&G Energy Saver direct install program. Request Governor and New Jersey State Legislature to commit additional funding to water infrastructure and approve order of billing categories for application of payments to Ridgewood Water. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes, and with that, we'll move to ordinances. I move the first reading of ordinance 3914.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Recuse.
and Newton.
Yes, so ordered. Will the clerk please read ordinance 3914 by title?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 190 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Land Use and Development at Article 10 zoning.
I move that ordinance 3914 be adopted on first reading and that August 10th be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
I second the motion.
2022.
August 10th, 2022.
Perrin,
I second.
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
And this is the one I intended to recuse myself on. Forgive me.
Wait.
3914.
that's
you
right.
recused?
You
You
already
are-
recused.
He's
You already
recused.
recused.
And Newton.
Yes. All right.
Thank you.
Let's regroup here, kids. Okay. I move the first reading of ordinance 3915.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes, so ordered. Will the clerk please read ordinance 3915 by title?
A bond ordinance amending the title in Section 3A of Bond Ordinance Number 3813 of the Village of Ridgewood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, finally adopted September 9, 2020, in order to amend the description of the project.
I move that ordinance 3915 be adopted on first reading and that August 10th, 2022 be fixed as the date for the hearing thereon.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3912 by title on second reading and that the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Vagianos,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes, will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3912?
An ordinance to amend Chapter 265 of the Code of the Village of Ridgewood, Vehicles and Traffic, as Section 265-23, time limit parking, and Section 265-38, overtime parking, and Section 265-39, repeat parking.
Okay. The public hearing is now open.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Boyd A. Loving, 342 South Irving Street. Since this ordinance in part has to do with overtime parking, I ask this question. Are we absolutely, positively certain that Park Mobile has been completely checked to make sure that you cannot repeat park using Park Mobile? And I ask this because I believe that people have made comments before the council at public meetings indicating that they are able to repeat park using Park Mobile in certain zones. So I'm wondering if an audit has ever been conducted by Mr. Rooney and his staff, and I'm talking about a physical audit. I am not talking about them calling Park Mobile on the phone or sending Park Mobile an email asking them, is everything okay? I'm talking about somebody who works for Mr. Rooney going out and physically attempting to repeat park by using a Park Mobile app. Has that ever been done? Because people are reporting that they are able to do it, which would be a violation of this ordinance. So what's the story? Have we ever checked Park Mobile out, or are we just taking their word for it?
So, I don't, we should, even though this is relative to a different aspect of parking.
It's overtime parking.
I'm sorry?
You're talking about overtime parking, and you're talking about how people overtime park, and one of the ways in which they overtime park is by repeating the app again.
I'm sorry, Matt?
This doesn't add any new or change the regulations with the overtime parking. This just deals with one of the sections in that in terms of increasing parking time prohibited, and deals with those that are going to be affected by the grab-and-go or the loading zones. So I think that is certainly a valid point, but it doesn't get affected or impacted by this ordinance in that ability. I think whether or not that has taken place and will take place is a different question. This ordinance has to do with the spaces that are being used for the grab-and-go and the delivery areas, the loading zones. So
in those spaces, you were not able to use Park Mobile?
Well, in those spaces, it talks about for any person deposit cause or do deposit in a parking meter during the time periods that are going to be used for the grab-and-go or for the delivery the loading zones. So that's what this basically does.
Could you also use the kiosk? Because my same question would apply to the kiosk. Has somebody gone out and done a physical audit of a kiosk to ensure that you could not use a kiosk?
That I don't know about. That I don't know about. But again, we're dealing with the zones that are being established and set up for unloading and grab and go.
But it's a fair question.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to offer that clarification. So I think, thank you, Matt. We can certainly ask how we would, I guess, do an audit to make that determination, because you're absolutely right, and Park Mobile does need to, we need to better understand if that's being permitted.
But if you're talking about the loading zones, aren't the loading zones going to change over at a certain time to be parking?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes,
Are you going to be able to use the kiosk to pay for parking when it changes over to be regular parking? It's just going to be grab and go?
It doesn't fix the situation. What I'm saying is that this particular ordinance only deals with those areas that are not more global in terms of the use of the kiosks or the Park Mobile apps throughout the central business district. This only deals with the areas that are designated for the grab and go and the unloading zones.
I understand that, but I'm asking the areas that deal with the grab and go and the loading zones. Are the loading zones going to convert over to parking that you could pay for by using a kiosk at some point, or are the loading zones only going to convert over to grab and go?
I think they're going to convert over to 15-minute meters.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
15-minute meters.
So that you're not going to be able to use a kiosk?
No.
No.
Okay. Still a fair question with respect to overtime parking.
Sure.
You are absolutely right, and we do need to address it and understand what's going on with that. So we will certainly speak to Mr. Rooney and take a look at it. So it's a fair question. This piece just didn't impact that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Steve Garbatow, Beauty Club Salon and Boutique. But before I get started, what I want to talk about, you guys mentioned about crime and everything else. I have stores in
Okay.
malls.
This is a public hearing.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is a public hearing specifically on ordinance 3912, which we just read. So this is a public hearing.
Okay.
There will be a public comment at the end of the meeting. You're
I thought I
welcome
was
to
able to do-
speak.
okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, don't apologize. Here. You have anything to say about the the ordinance, right? All right. With that, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3912 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. I move the clerk read ordinance 3913 by title on second reading and the public hearing thereon be open.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes. Will the clerk please read the title of ordinance 3913?
A bond ordinance providing for the purchase of a heavy-duty rear loader packer body recycling truck for the Division of Solid Waste, actually it's recycling, I apologize, recycling in and by the Village of Ridgewood in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, appropriating $355,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $337,250 bonds or notes of the village to finance part of the cost thereof.
Public hearing is now open.
Russell Forenza, 228 Emmett Place, Ridgewood, New Jersey, 07450-2803-281. Regarding that recycling truck, is there any way we can also make that a recycling shredder truck that we could also shred at the same time? I know I mentioned this quite a few times. I think we could have a shredder here, and I think the town could make money on it by having other people use it and whatever. But maybe there's a thought there, and as a recycling, maybe we could also convert it into a shredder also. Thank you.
Thank you, Russ. Okay. Anyone else? I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
I move that ordinance 3913 be adopted on second reading and final publication as required by law.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
The following resolutions, number 22-256 through 22-272, will be adopted by a consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Award contract, respirator fit tester, health department. Award contract, SCADA system upgrade, water pollution control facility. Award contract, restoration and staining of the Lester Stable. Award contract under Bergen County contract, painting of Village Hall facade. Award additional funding for contract under Sourcewell, rubber tire front end loader and 48-inch bucket for clearing sidewalks of ice and snow, water pollution control facility. Award contract under National Cooperative Purchasing Alliance contract, licensing fees and service for security system software. Authorized change order, planning consulting services, Green Acres diversion, amendment to recreation and open space inventory. Authorized change order to contract for tree removals in various locations. Authorized credit toward significant sewer discharge billing. Authorized revised agreement with PSE&G Energy Saver Direct Install Program. Authorized execution of memorandum of understanding with Bergen County for childhood-led program. Authorized execution of agreement lightning detection system with the Ridgewood Board of Education. Authorized submission of NJDOT grant application North Monroe Street Phase 2. Approved 2022 to 2023 renewal of liquor license Maple Avenue Liquors. Accept donation wind sculpture for Children's Sensory and Butterfly Garden. Authorized change order repairs to gutters at taxi stand and appoint member to Central Business District Advisory Committee. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Sedin.
Yes.
Vagianos.
Yes.
And Newton.
Yes.
The last item is Resolution 22-273, extend grab-and-go parking spaces, which will be read in full. Whereas the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood established a pilot program and extensions of the program for the grab-and-go parking spaces in the Central Business District, which have been effective in assisting those driving into the Central Business District to have a free parking space for 15 minutes as they patronize a business or an eatery in the Central Business District. And whereas the grab-and-go parking spaces assisted in keeping both businesses and eateries open and operating during the COVID-19 pandemic. And whereas the most recent extension of the grab-and-go parking spaces was through July 31st, 2022, so that an ordinance with new parking regulations on various streets in the Central Business District could be introduced in June and adopted in July. And whereas, after lengthy discussions, the Village Council's final decision on the new parking regulations on various streets in the Central Business District will result in an ordinance being introduced at the August 10th, 2022 public meeting, with a public hearing and consideration for final adoption of the ordinance at the September 14th, 2022 public meeting, with an effective date of October 4th, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved by the Village Council of the Village of Ridgewood that the Village Council hereby approves the extension of the pilot program for the grab-and-go parking spaces in the Central Business District to September 30th, 2022, and be it further resolved that the fee for each grab-and-go parking space for the time frame of May 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022 shall be $1,250 per space, and be it finally resolved that those wishing to fund a grab-and-go parking space during the time frame of May 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022 must file an application with the village manager's office and pay the $1,250 fee per grab-and-go parking space no later than August 1st, 2022. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Should we go on the record? I think Paul is recused from this.
Yeah, Councilman Vagianos will be recusing himself from this vote.
Correct.
I just want to put it on the record.
That's good.
Okay, so Councilwoman Reynolds moved. Do I have a second?
Oh,
Second.
that's-
Second.
Okay. Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes, and with that, we will go back to comments from the public, not to exceed 5 minutes per person. Please state your name and address for the record. Steve, if you want it, this is your chance, and just before you do that, Heather, would you be kind enough, maybe we can reach out for Mr. Cho of Kimchi Smoke Fachko Shack and ask him to come to our
Sure,
August meeting.
I will.
Thank you.
I will.
All right, very good. Public comment? Come on up, name and address for the record.
Before I get started, a comment, because you were talking about...
Could I just have
Hang on,
an-
just pull the microphone down a little. Name and address for the record.
Okay. Steve Garbatow, Beauty Club Salon and Boutique, 46 East Ridgewood Avenue.
Okay, go ahead.
To make a quick comment, because you mentioned about crime and everything else in Ridgewood. So I have stores in major malls. We had a mandatory meeting in the mall yesterday about active gun shooting and everything else. We had to watch a video from the FBI about that. I'm just putting that out there, but they went over what to do in an active shooting. I'm here kind of after what happened this weekend compared to last year with the business stick. I'm worried about all the businesses in Ridgewood right now because I think a lot of people think that COVID is over, but it's not over. So you have a lot of people who aren't eating in the restaurants, and I see the traffic way down in town. There's a lot of empty stores. You have stores here that are empty for 7 years, major franchise stores. The Gap, Ann Taylor, it's got to be 7 years that they're empty. Just concerned about everything, that hopefully maybe we could do something else. You know, I guess you're not closing the streets and everything else. Maybe could we do more sidewalk sale days? I mean, I did actually very good when you did it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Just concerned about you have a lot of empty stores, but you have some new stores. I don't know how they're going to make it for the next year. This winter was very rough. So that's my comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening again. Boyd A. Loving, 342 South Irving Street. I'd like to comment on something from the manager's report, and that is the manager's request for water conservation. I've been meaning to talk about this for some time, but it really got to me today because it is so dry out and the lawns are starting to burn. What I have observed, and through discussions with the water department and what I've observed in my own neighborhood, is that there seems to be some disparate treatment. Yes, I say disparate treatment between the rich and the poor in Ridgewood when it comes to water conservation. And that is, if you have a smart controller on your system, You can virtually water at any time, according to the way the regulations are now written. I say virtually at any time, certainly not at any time of the day, but you can certainly water much, much, much more so than if you were unable to afford a smart controller system. I don't know how this really works to water conservation if people who have smart controllers are able to water it any time that they basically want to, where those of us who cannot afford smart controller systems are regulated to watering twice a week. I can water on Wednesdays and Sundays during restricted time periods. If you have a smart controller system, you are not restricted to the same time periods that I am restricted to, and you can basically water on any day of the week, including the 2 days of the week where the rest of us can't do a thing. So how does this conserve water when people are able to water virtually any time just if they can afford the most expensive system? I think that this ordinance really needs to be examined because, again, I feel as though it is disparate treatment. It separates the rich from the poor. The rich can have nice green lawns where those of us who don't have that kind of money, our lawns brown out. I don't know how the ordinance was written that way, that basically permitted the rich to water at any time and the poor to be restricted to do 2 days a week. So I'm asking the council to review that ordinance, and with in particular the fact that it does not work towards water conservation if you can basically water at any time. I don't know how.
As I read the ordinance,
My time? Can I finish my time?
yes,
I'm sorry. Thank you very much. The other thing I'd like to comment on is for months, yes, for months, I have been trying to get to the bottom of why the no parking signs were removed in front of NOMA and not put back in. And this is particularly upsetting to me because many of us worked against those buildings like NOMA. Now I'm wondering if they're getting special treatment, and that's why people are allowed to park there. The manager has told me it's a county issue, and I say that can't be true. It was a county road before NOMA was built. It is a county road now. Why is it a county issue that somebody removed our signs and we can't put them back? That's nonsense. Let's get to the bottom of this. This is particularly paradoxical because I went in front of the new water company building today, and although this council has not even introduced that ordinance yet, those spaces were built yesterday and are in service. How is that possible? That is against 265-65. Those spaces are marked. You can use them. The council has not approved the ordinance, but yet I can't get the no parking signs put back in front of NOMA. Again, am I being treated differently for some reason? What is going on? I keep asking about this, and I keep being told there is no answer. How could there possibly be no answer to missing signs, but yet those spaces in front of the new water department building are built without council approval? How does that happen? I ask you. Thank you.
Thank you, Boy. Any other public comment? With that, we will close public comment. I think Councilwoman Perrin, do you want to?
yes.
Did you want to speak? Go ahead.
My reading of the water conservation ordinance is that even the smart controllers are required to water 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning, not outside those times. And if you see it outside those times, it's a violation.
Okay, hang on. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the ordinance and review it. One of my concerns when we did that ordinance, and I believe that the language remained intact, was that there was a requirement for the item to be installed by a professional landscaper. I had always felt that that was fundamentally unfair because there are many people that do their own electricity. There are many people that do their own sprinkler systems. There are people that just have the ability, and I always had an issue. So we're going to pull that ordinance. The village manager can pull that, and we'll take a look at it. In terms of parking in front of NOMA, I do want to address that because I, too, made the inquiry because Mr. Loving brought it to my attention. My understanding is it's a village. The parking on Maple is in village code, So I'm not sure if we are permitting parking based on village code, how it is that the parking signs have been removed and not reinstalled. They should be reinstalled, and if there's going to be a modification to the site plan, then something's got to go back to the planning board, because I don't recall the planning board ever approving that cutout. In fact, my recollection is that there was an encroachment, so I think we have to pull it out and take a look at that as well. And I think that's it. So
Can I just make a comment? The signs in front of NOMA are actually going in tomorrow.
Oh.
The parking spaces by the Ridgewood Water was an error on the part of our contractor, so we're correcting that error as well, because as Mr. Loving pointed out, it does need an ordinance, obviously, to be able to do so. We'll bring that back for discussion on August 6th.
Okay, very good. Thank you. See? Quickly resolved. All right, very good. With that, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you.
I just want to go on the record. And
I'd have to go through the application, but I'm not sure at this point that we could add anything new. So there was stuff like the historic preservation element of the master plan and the sustainability element of the master plan. You got points for those. So since I didn't have the drafts, I still don't have them until, once they're reviewed and everything, I get them. I did put in like kind of a space holder in those applications. That was like, I put in something that said, we're reviewing our master plans, and it's 1983, and we're rewriting the entire thing.